Aaron with Timeless Automotive here. What we're going to do today is remove this panel so we can get to the power window, motor, and regulator and swap it out for them. What happens is the window goes down, but it does not come back up on its own, so we're going to replace that. To start with, there's 2 screws here in your door panel, and then there's one up here by the door handle. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these 3 screws out, starting with this one up here by the door handle. And we're going to come to the 2 down here by the where you pull the door closed. And there's a series of clips around the edge. What we're going to do is I've already popped them loose just to kind of make things a little smoother. But what I've got to do now is I've got to get this panel off so that I can get to behind it to where the motor and regulator is. You want to be forceful, but you got to be careful that you don't break any of the clips. Sometimes they're not always readily available to you. Okay, so now that we've gotten the panel loose from the door, we're going to take this switch cover off. And we're going to unplug these plugs back here so that we can slide that out of the way. There's some things down in here that you want to unhook so that you can get this panel moved out of your way. Like there's a light down here on the bottom that we're going to unplug. Right there, just like so. Now you've got the panel loose and out of your way. You'll also notice after you get the panel off that there's this foam sheet here to help with some insulation and some noise reduction. You got to be very careful about taking that off so that you can get back here to where your window regulator is. You'll notice that the foam sheet is attached with this black adhesive. It's a very, very tacky, sticky adhesive, so it's kind of fun to pull this loose. It's kind of a task. But the good news is once you get it down far enough, you don't have to completely take it off. It'll lay out of your way. And as you can see, you're starting to get to your window regulator and motor. Okay, so what we've done, we've gotten the foam sheet loose, and you'll notice down here on the bottom, there's a bolt here and a bolt here. When you pull this sheet down out of your way, you'll see that those attach to the lower portion of the regulator to help this window go up and down and to hold it into place. And you got 2 more bolts here. And then on the inside here, if you look right here, there's a bolt here, and you go to the other end, it's kind of hidden up here. You can't see it very well from the camera angle. There's another bolt there. That's actually what holds your window to your regulator. What I'm going to do is, to kind of get this door handle out of my way, you know, the closure, the latch that opens and releases the door, I'm going to cut this plastic and this foam just a little bit so that I can slide this out of the way, and that'll give me more area to work with. It doesn't take a lot. You just want enough that'll squeeze through there so that you can get this door handle out of your way and these cables out of your way, and it just makes things a little easier and it frees things up a little more. Be careful so that you don't rip or tear it, because you don't want a whole lot of space there, because it'll let more sound in, more road noise, and a little bit more air. So you want just enough that you can squeeze this part out of the way. And then you can just lay this down inside the door so that it's out of your way. And then this foam sheet will fold down to where you can just kind of tuck it under, and it gives you more workspace. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to unplug the electrical portion of the motor. We'll get that out of the way, and then we're going to come up here and we're going to take these bolts and screws loose so that we can start taking the regulator out and get this motor replaced for this customer. Realistically, you can sometimes actually just remove the electrical portion of this power window motor. There's 3 bolts here that hold it to the regulator. It is a less expensive way, The issue is sometimes with the motor going bad, it has the same amount of wear and tear on it that the regulator does. So what can happen later on is the regulator itself can go bad, then you've got to come back in and you've got to redo the job. Okay, so what we've got here, we're actually to the point to where we're ready to take these nuts and bolts loose. There's, like I said, there's one that's tucked up here that's kind of tough to get to. You really can't get a 10 millimeter socket in there, so you just have to use your 10 millimeter wrench to get up on there and break that loose, and that'll loosen that grip, the clamp that actually holds the base of the window down there. If you're using a power driver like I am, it's best to try and keep it on the lowest setting, especially since you're working with glass, and that way you don't pop anything or break anything loose. Just be very careful, take your time. It's not a race. You just want to make sure that you do it the most effective way that you can. Alright, so we've got the window loose from the regulator. You'll see there it's kind of free and hanging. I just like to let the glass slide down in here. You can later just slide it up out of the way and then position it onto your regulator. So we're going to take these couple 3 bolts that we've got left loose. You're going to fold your foam piece up here and down here. That should have everything loose so that you can slide that down. You'll probably have to, it's like a puzzle to try and get this loose. It can be tricky. Just maneuver it around enough and you'll get it to where you'll be able to slide it up. And there's your old electric motor and regulator assembly. Like I said earlier, the regulator itself, which is your cables and these 2-3 rails right here, don't look bad, but there again, they've got the same amount of up and down time as the electric motor does. So it's just a precautionary measure so you don't have to come back and do the job twice. Okay, so we've got our new window motor and regulator. We're going to slide this in here. Basically all you're going to do on the installation is just kind of reverse everything you know, that you done when you were taking it out. Just get it kind of wiggle it around a little bit and it'll eventually get to where you need it to be so that you can get it to attach where you need it to hook in at. It's not always the easiest of tasks. So you've got it pretty much set in place at this point. So now you're just going to kind of start going backwards from what the removal process was. So we're going to go ahead and start plugging all these things back on here. Now you might notice that the lift arm that the window attaches to is actually sitting at a lower point than when we started. So you won't have to hold your window up quite as far, and it makes it a little more easily accessible to reattach to the motor and the regulator. I like to, when I've taken my hardware loose from the component that I'm working on, I kind of like to lay them out in a manner that, you know, that where they came off of, in accordance as to what you're working on as far as the part goes, the piece goes. There again, if you're using a power impact driver, always try and set it on your lowest setting here, so that way it doesn't over tighten and cause any breakage in your hardware there. So we've got those pieces attached. Now we're just going to take this plug and snap it onto the motor. Get that little clip up on there, and you'll hear it kind of pop or snap. Alright, so now we're at a point where we're ready to lift the glass and reattach it to the regulator itself. As you can see, I'll have my cameraman kind of zoom in here a little bit. You can see that there's a clip right here for it to sit, rest right on this lift portion, so that it'll line up nice and easy for you. It's always best to start your hardware by hand if you're using a power impact, so that way it doesn't cross thread or strip any of your threading holes out. So take your bolt and just kind of rest it in your socket. Or do it the old-fashioned way. Just use your fingers. Got it started there. Come over to this side. Sometimes you'll get one that's a bit of a problem child and doesn't like to line up just quite right, so you gotta try and adjust for that the best you can. Get that side started. Okay, so after arguing with it a little bit, it finally kind of gave in. And we're just going to gently tighten these down. Just give it one little pop there, because you are dealing with glass. And there we go. We're going to come to this side, we're going to do the same thing. Like I say, we're down here on this lowest setting, so that way we don't break anything or snap anything off there. So we're back together. Now we can start reassembling your foam sheet. You'll get to where you hook your connectors back in. We're going to fish this through the foam here. And careful not to tear that foam, but we get it back through there so that we can reattach it to the door panel. Now, you'll notice you've got that black adhesive there. What we're going to do is we're going to put another coat of this adhesive on here, and then we'll set this in place. Okay, so this is what I like to use in situations for this. It's made by Permatex. It's called the Right Stuff. It just gives you it dries really quick, and it gives you a good solid adhesive. Okay, so we've reconnected our light down here. We're just about to the point to where we're ready to start pushing the clips back in on the panel into the door to reattach those 3 screws, and then we'll be done. Okay, so we're ready to put our window switches back into place. So we're going to take these clips here, these plugs, and we're going to snap them into place. There they go. That one's for the windows. And then you've got this other one. It's for the power mirror. And they just kind of snap in. And you just maneuver them down to the point to where they just clip in. Being careful not to break your tabs. When they get cooler, there we go. Got that back in place. We're ready to put our last 3 screws back in. Get them started by hand. Here to the get that lined up. Very Okay, so after we get our switch panel back in place, we get our light plug back in, we get our door lever, get it snap back in place, and get this screw here and these 2 screws in here, you're good to go. All you got left to do is to try the up and down mobility of it. So we're gonna put our key in. Go ahead and slide it. Goes down. And it goes up. There we go. Okay, so we've just finished putting our window motor and regulator in the 2005 Mitsubishi Endeavor. Hope it was helpful and it's useful. Be sure and subscribe to our channel. Give us our Facebook page a like, and watch for future videos. Thanks.